progressive rock is the genre that music snobs love to hate, and true fans refuse to apologize for. This was music that dared to be difficult. That stretched a single song across an entire album side, that made the 6-minute guitar solo feel like a gift rather than an indulgence. It was ambitious, theatrical, and sometimes ridiculous, but it changed everything we thought rock could be. Today we count down the 10 greatest progressive rock bands of all time. Some built empires, others remained cult legends. All of them redefined what was possible.
Hey, teacher, leave the kids alone!
There was never really any doubt about number one. Pink Floyd did not just define progressive rock, they transcended it entirely. The band emerged from the London underground scene in 1965, initially led by the brilliant but troubled Syd Barrett. His psychedelic vision shaped their early work before mental illness forced his departure. Roger Waters, David Gilmour, Nick Mason, and Richard Wright then rebuilt the band into something even more extraordinary. The Dark Side of the Moon, released in March 1973, became one of the best-selling albums in history, remaining on the Billboard chart for over 14 years. The album explored universal themes: time, money, death, madness, with a sophistication that rewarded repeated listening. Gilmour's guitar solos on Time and Money became templates that guitarists have studied ever since. What separates Pink Floyd from every other band on this list is their cultural impact. Wish You Were Here paid tribute to Barrett while examining the music industry that had consumed him. Shine On You Crazy Diamond stands as one of the most emotionally devastating pieces in rock history. The Wall pushed the concept album to its absolute limit, with live shows featuring an actual wall being constructed across the stage. These were not just albums for music enthusiasts. They were gateways that introduced millions of ordinary listeners to the possibilities of ambitious, thoughtful rock music. David Gilmour's guitar tone influenced generations of players, while Roger Waters' conceptual ambitions redefined what a rock album could attempt. They proved that popularity and artistic integrity need not be mutually exclusive. Before Jethro Tull, no one imagined that the flute could be a rock instrument. Ian Anderson changed that perception forever. Standing on one leg, wild-eyed and bearded, he made the flute sound dangerous. He breathed and sang into it simultaneously, creating textures that were entirely his own. Around this unlikely figure, Jethro Tull built a body of work that defied every expectation. The band began as a blues outfit in 1967, but by Aqualung in 1971, they had evolved into something unprecedented. That album's examination of religion and hypocrisy struck a nerve with listeners. The title track, with its famous acoustic opening giving way to crushing electric guitar, became a classic rock staple. Locomotive Breath built from a delicate piano introduction into one of the most powerful endings in rock history. Then came Thick as a Brick in 1972, a single 43-minute track presented as a newspaper printed around a fictional poem by a fictional child prodigy. It was either a masterpiece or a parody of progressive rock excess, possibly both simultaneously. Anderson never confirmed which interpretation was correct, and that ambiguity became part of the album's enduring appeal. If progressive rock had a sound, Yes defined it. From their formation in 1968, this London band pursued a vision of rock music that was ornate, virtuosic, and utterly distinctive. John Anderson's ethereal tenor, Steve Howe's acoustic and electric guitar mastery, Rick Wakeman's cathedral of keyboards, and Chris Squire's thunderous bass created something instantly recognizable. The early 1970s saw Yes release a string of albums that remained touchstones of the genre. The Yes album introduced longer compositions built on intricate interplay between the musicians. Fragile followed later that year, featuring Roundabout, a song that somehow made 7 minutes of constantly shifting music feel like a radio-friendly single. Close to the Edge, released in 1972, represented their artistic peak. The 18-minute title track demanded complete attention, its 4 movements exploring themes of spiritual enlightenment through music that ranged from delicate acoustic passages to massive symphonic crescendos. Many consider it the greatest progressive rock composition ever recorded. Do you remember where you were when you first heard that cascading guitar opening of Roundabout? For millions of fans, that moment marked the beginning of a lifelong love affair with progressive rock. Yes proved remarkably resilient, continuing to tour and record through numerous lineup changes, their catalog a treasure trove of ambitious rock music that still rewards careful listening. Five schoolboys from Charterhouse created one of the most theatrical and influential bands in progressive rock history. Genesis formed in 1967, and under the charismatic leadership of Peter Gabriel, they developed a style that merged complex musicianship with elaborate stage presentations. Gabriel's costumes and characters transformed their concerts into immersive theatrical experiences unlike anything rock had seen. The 1972 album Foxtrot marked their creative breakthrough. Supper's Ready, a 23-minute epic that closed the record, remains one of the genre's defining achievements. Gabriel wove together mythology, spirituality, and surreal imagery while the band constructed an ever-shifting musical landscape beneath him. The song demanded patience from listeners, but those who surrendered to its journey were rewarded with an experience unlike anything else. Tony Banks developed into one of the most distinctive keyboardists in rock, his lush synthesizer textures becoming essential to the Genesis sound. Steve Hackett's guitar work combined classical technique with rock power. Mike Rutherford and Phil Collins provided a rhythm section capable of navigating the band's most complex passages with precision and grace. When Gabriel departed in 1975, many assumed Genesis would collapse. Instead, Collins stepped forward as vocalist, and the band evolved. They never abandoned their progressive roots entirely, but they found new ways to reach audiences. Genesis demonstrated that progressive rock could grow, adapt, and survive across decades of changing musical tastes. If one album can be said to have invented progressive rock, it might be In the Court of the Crimson King. Released in October 1969, just months after the Summer of Love had faded, this debut announced that rock music would never be the same. The opening track, 21st Century Schizoid Man, hit listeners with a wall of distorted saxophone and guitar that sounded like nothing that had come before. Robert Fripp founded King Crimson with a singular vision: constant reinvention. Over more than 5 decades, the band has existed in countless configurations, but Fripp's uncompromising standards remained constant. He viewed King Crimson not as a band in the traditional sense, but as a way of doing things, a commitment to discipline and innovation that transcended any particular lineup. Each incarnation of the band explored different territory. The 1980s brought a leaner, more aggressive sound influenced by new wave. The 1990s saw experiments with double trios. Recent lineups have featured 3 drummers playing simultaneously. King Crimson proved that progressive rock need not be nostalgic, always pushing forward, never content to rest on past achievements.
Dust in the wind.
From the wheat fields of Topeka came one of the most unlikely progressive rock success stories in American music. Kansas formed in 1973, and they brought something the genre desperately needed: heartland authenticity. While their British counterparts drew inspiration from medieval literature and science fiction, Kansas wrote about the American experience with a complexity that rivaled anything from across the Atlantic. The band featured a remarkable dual keyboard and violin attack, with Kerry Livgren and Steve Walsh trading intricate passages against Robbie Steinhardt's soaring violin lines. This combination gave Kansas a sound that was unmistakably their own. When Carry On Wayward Son exploded onto radio in 1976, it introduced millions of listeners to progressive rock without them even realizing what they were hearing. That song opens with one of the most recognizable vocal harmonies in rock history before launching into nearly 5 minutes of shifting time signatures and dynamic changes. The album Left Overture became a multi-platinum success, proving that prog rock could achieve mainstream appeal without sacrificing its musical ambitions. There was something beautifully strange about a Dutch band yodeling their way into the rock history books. Focus emerged from Amsterdam in the late 1960s, led by the classically trained organist and flautist Thijs van Leer alongside guitarist Jan Akkerman. While most progressive rock bands were busy crafting elaborate concept albums, Focus carved out their own peculiar niche with instrumental virtuosity and an almost playful disregard for convention. Their 1972 single Hocus Pocus remains one of the most gloriously unhinged recordings in rock history. Van Leer alternates between Hammond organ flourishes, flute passages, and those unforgettable yodeling vocals, while Ackerman delivers blistering guitar work that still sounds ferocious today. The song climbed to number 9 on the American charts, proving that audiences were hungry for something beyond the 3-minute pop single. Focus proved that progressive rock did not belong exclusively to the British. They brought a different sensibility, one rooted in European classical traditions and jazz improvisation. Their influence can be heard in countless instrumental rock bands that followed, a testament to their unique place in the progressive rock pantheon. In a genre often dominated by bombast, Camel offered something different: elegance. Formed in London in 1971, this quartet created progressive rock that emphasized melody and atmosphere over technical showmanship. Guitarist Andrew Latimer became the band's constant presence, his expressive playing style giving Camel a sonic identity that remained distinctive across decades of lineup changes. Their 1975 album, The Snow Goose, stands as one of progressive rock's most beautiful achievements. This fully instrumental concept album, inspired by Paul Gallico's novella of the same name, told its story entirely through music. No vocals were needed. The melodies carried every emotion, from hope to heartbreak. Rioter, the opening piece, remains one of the most moving compositions in the genre. The band faced commercial challenges throughout their career, never achieving the mainstream success of their peers. Yet their influence proved enduring. Modern progressive bands frequently cite Camel as a crucial inspiration, praising their restraint and commitment to emotional storytelling. Sometimes the quietest voice in the room speaks the loudest truth. 2. Three musicians from Toronto created more sound than seemed humanly possible. Rush began as a straightforward hard rock band in 1968, but the arrival of drummer Neil Peart in 1974 transformed them into something unprecedented. Peart brought not only extraordinary drumming skills, but a literary sensibility that elevated their lyrics into genuine poetry. The 1976 album 2112 announced their progressive ambitions. The title track, a 20-minute suite set in a dystopian future, established Rush as serious contenders in the genre. Geddy Lee's distinctive high tenor, Alex Lifeson's textured guitar work, and Peart's intricate drumming created a sound that defied easy categorization. What set Rush apart was their ability to evolve. While many progressive bands became trapped by their own complexity, Rush adapted with the times. Moving Pictures, released in 1981, achieved the seemingly impossible. It was simultaneously their most accessible and most sophisticated work. Tom Sawyer became an anthem, its synthesis of hard rock energy and progressive complexity influencing countless bands that followed.
You are meant to be here.
No band embodied the excess of progressive rock quite like Emerson, Lake, and Palmer. When Keith Emerson, Greg Lake, and Carl Palmer joined forces in 1970, they created a supergroup that would push the boundaries of what three musicians could achieve on stage. This was progressive rock at its most grandiose, its most theatrical, and its most unapologetically ambitious. Keith Emerson had already established himself as a keyboard revolutionary with The Nice, famous for stabbing his Hammond organ with knives and wrestling it across the stage. With ELP, his virtuosity found its ultimate expression. His arrangements of classical works, from Mussorgsky's Pictures at an Exhibition to Aaron Copland's Fanfare for the Common Man, introduced generations of rock fans to symphonic music. Greg Lake brought the voice, that rich baritone that could shift from tender ballads to thunderous rock anthems. His song Lucky Man, with its primitive Moog synthesizer solo recorded almost as an afterthought, became their first hit. Carl Palmer, barely 20 years old when the band formed, provided drumming that was equal parts jazz precision and rock power. Their 1973 album Brain Salad Surgery remains a landmark of the genre. The 30-minute epic Carnival 9 imagined a dystopian future where humanity's greatest achievements are reduced to carnival attractions. ELP toured with orchestras, elaborate stage productions, and a reported 40 tons of equipment. They never apologized for dreaming big. 10 bands, countless hours of music, a legacy that continues to inspire musicians and listeners alike. Progressive rock asked more from its audience than most genres ever dared, but it gave back immeasurably more in return. These bands proved that rock music could be art without losing its soul. Now we want to hear from you. Which band deserved a place on this list? Who did we miss? Drop your thoughts in the comments and share your favorite prog rock memory.